All right. Well, welcome to another week of Creator Hangout. This is my channel. My name is Anthony Locke, and I'm glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. A lot's been kind of going on lately. I actually have been working on some new content, and actually later on in the video, I will be showing a sneak peek of that content that's actually going to be scheduled to come out tomorrow, and I'm actually excited about it. It's a gear review, and I'm excited to say that. But for the first time ever, I have a friend that's backstage. He has been meaning to come for a few weeks, but he's just been kind of spacing off, spending too much time on Clubhouse. Sorry, I just kind of threw you under the bus. But without further ado, let's welcome on my first guest. What's up, Ethan?
What's good? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's good to hear.
So how's life?
It's good.
Keeping busy? Staying on Clubhouse a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
So Ethan, tell everybody about a little bit about like what you do with your channel.
I do trends, I do cooking videos, I do goofy things. I'm pretty much am the one who just puts content out there and see where it goes. I don't have a niche, but I'm very I figure out how to get the audience's attention.
Okay, awesome. And so, how long have you been doing that?
Since I was 13.
It's quite a while, man. That's quite a while. And now, for those who don't know, Ethan, he's become kind of popular on like TikTok, on YouTube Shorts. Like he has a lot of stuff that just kind of flies off the shelf. Like it just goes crazy. It gets like thousands of views. Like when on Clubhouse, he's our go-to guy to ask questions about TikTok, about short form vertical video content. This is the guy that we ask, right? Ethan, like, well, what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about that? And he's like, well, I wouldn't do that, or I would do this instead. So he's like the what would be the correct term? Like, what would you call yourself, Ethan?
I don't know.
The short form video specialist. We'll just say that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been great so far. I've been kind of I for one I took a break from Clubhouse for a few months, and then when I finally got back on it, it just seemed like every day like Ethan Klein's in this room, Ethan Klein's in this room, Ethan Klein's in this room. I'm like, man, this guy he's really trying to get to know people, and that's awesome. Like, I mean, being a content creator, like that's one of your goals. Like, you got to make those connections so you can in the future do like collaborations. You can, maybe even give them resources for brand sponsorships, and they can give you, vice versa. But I wanted to go to the chat real quick because we got and saying hello. And we got Nano Lewis. Thank you so much for coming by, man. I appreciate you. But really, Ethan, what got you interested in the whole content creation space, whether it be on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts? What really got you interested in this?
Man, that's a hard one because I started when kind of like it was like everyone was doing SoundCloud at one point and then Amazon reviewing. I used to do Amazon reviews, but I had to stop doing that because they didn't have an influencer program. And then Musically came out and then Instagram. And then basically after that, they bought all those apps and then became TikTok and now shorts and now it just was like a transition from one thing to another thing. And I've been able to pick up all the platforms, even Pinterest, and just do all of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the most important thing. I was actually watching Professor Nez's live stream earlier, and he always emphasizes the importance of establishing yourself on all the platforms. Not just not putting all your eggs in one basket. Really, just posting, repurposing your content and putting it like on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, on Facebook Reels, on Instagram Reels, so on and so forth. And so, like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, don't keep put your content all over the place because TikTok right now they're banning a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so right now, everyone's trying to figure out what platform works for them. And there has to be, you just got to figure out your thing. And if it's working, keep going.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, that's right. TikTok is starting to ban a lot of people, like whether for various different reasons. We could be here for hours listing off the reasons why TikTok is banning people from their platform. But really, like, I just gotta say, like, that's one of the reasons why people like Ethan, they're playing it smart. They're having a presence on every platform. Like, I'm slowly getting back onto TikTok. I'm slowly getting back onto Instagram Reels, and I even threw up a Facebook Reel this past week or so. And so, but I want to go back to the chat real quick and just give a few shout outs. We got Shark Fin in the house. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. And we got Bobby. He's very well known in the Instagram and short form video content area. He also does a lot of like long form videos. We got Annette. She's killing it down there in Florida as a real estate agent. Like, if you're in the Florida area and you're looking to buy a house, hit up Annette. She will take good care of you, and she definitely knows her stuff. We got, again, Elvira. Ethan, this comment's for you.
Hi, Annette.
And then, he's just saying hello. And then, yeah, Bobby is agreeing that you got to diversify. And then we got, Elvira saying hello to Sharkfin. So really, Ethan, when it comes like, I think back to when I was in high school. I'm going to carbon date myself here. I always do this. I was in the senior class of 2006. And so at the time, YouTube was around, but you really couldn't get into partnership programs. There was just more of like a random website that these two guys started up. And I actually even brought it up in my video that's going to be coming out tomorrow, that like, I couldn't have even fathomed even being a content creator for a living, for a career. But, you have grown up with this whole content creation thing. So I wanted to get your take on it, on how this has kind of influenced your life and how it really has just kind of encouraged you to keep putting out that content. Because you're out there in the California area, and like, for those who don't know, like, Ethan seems to know everybody and anybody out there in California, especially like when it comes to influencers. Like, this guy, like, he knows he knows everybody. Like, he will, not to like put you on the spotlight, but he'll actually like kind of boast sometimes on. It's like a humble boast. I'll say it. It's a humble boast.
Yeah.
He does a humble boast on Clubhouse where he'll like change his photo to like different artists that he's met, or like, different places he's gone. And we're all just like, man, when we all grow up, like, we want to be Ethan. Like, I mean, this guy knows everybody. But go ahead, Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, I just been doing it for so long, and it's been a journey. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know where I was going. Like, it pretty much started out on Instagram because that's where everyone started finding me, and then it trickled over to Musically, TikTok. Even today, like, there's people that have way more than me, and I'm still, they still know who I am because I'm just there. I'm there and I'm hanging out.
So would you say that you're like the groupie, like you're like the band groupie? Is that what you're saying? That you would consider yourself,
Yeah,
like
like
band groupie?
like yeah, I mean, I'm just like, hanging out, or if I see someone, I'll say hello, but I'm not like that person that goes crazy over, you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah,
fan and all that. But I'm
yeah.
very like calm and mellow.
Well, and see, and that's the thing. That's what kind of makes Ethan stand out above the others, is that like he's very humble about this. Like, if you guys don't know who Ethan is, like, this guy, like, he knows what he's doing and he knows how to stay humble. Like, so Ethan, you and I and others that are in the chat, like, we talk all the time on Clubhouse. We talk about different things, and one of the things that we always talk about actually ends up being like short form content, and like how it's just gaining such a trend. It's become such a popular way of being a content creator. So like, where do you see short form content going in the future?
I see it being everywhere because I feel like now people really want that instant thing to watch, but also it also affects the mental health because of, getting that instant gratification. That's why a bunch of these platforms are having to turn off likes, and there's different mechanisms that they have where you can turn off these things so it doesn't make you upset as a creator, because that's like pretty much that I know people get upset about, is that instant gratification,
Yeah.
and
And
that's what people want.
And I think that, you bring up a good point, like with the whole like having to turn off likes and things of that nature. Because actually, last night you were talking to us on Clubhouse about how there were people on that were kind of trolling your one of your YouTube shorts that was like just taking off, and as a content creator, I can honestly say like trolls are out there. Like I consistently have to deal with trolls, whether it be on live streams, on pre-recorded content, even on like when I was avidly posting on TikTok last fall. I was having problems with trolls, and so one of my good friends, he actually suggested to me, he's like, maybe for the time being, turn off comments on your TikTok videos, just like so that no one will be able to troll you. Because we all know that there's some people that just feel like they have nothing better to do with life than to try to tear down others. But no,
Yeah.
you bring up a good point, because I mean, LinkedIn is now they've announced that they're gonna start getting into the Reels short form content, and so I mean, and when I first learned about LinkedIn, one of my friends told me it was basically like the business side of Facebook. That's what he's like. It's basically the business side of Facebook, but now they're trying to, in a way, get away from that kind of like title of being like the business side of like social media. They're trying to get more into the like the trending topics, the whatever it may take, and so like it's just really cool. But so Sharkfin, he said this: I agree with Ethan and Professor Nez, who believe in a strong future for short form content. Roberto Blake made a controversial statement last week that he feels that TikTok won't exist in 5 to 10 years. So what's your thoughts on that statement?
I mean, it depends on what the platform is doing. I mean, they're now trying to be like YouTube, and they're trying to, do all this stuff. I mean, they're stealing stories. They are they're they're doing all taking stuff from different platforms and putting into their own platforms. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I heard they're trying to do like basically what like we have here. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah, because didn't they just announce recently that they were going to start doing like longer than 3 minute video content?
Oh no, they already are. Like I can upload a 10-minute video.
And that's just crazy because like when I think about TikTok, I think about like one yeah, I think about like 1 minute videos that are just like maybe it's like encouragement videos or just something of that nature. But I don't think about like, going to TikTok and saying like, well, I want to watch a 10-minute video on TikTok because that's just what I want to do with my time. Now I have, seen some people who have posted longer form video, vertical video content on TikTok, and that's great. Like, I mean, and that they're trying to like experiment with that, but um, you know, Bobby, he said, I think we put too much stress on ourselves as creators, and there's too much platforms to keep up with. So, do you agree with that statement?
I mean, I've been doing it for a while, so I have a rhythm of things. Like I have a rhythm where it's like Reels at this time, TikTok at this time, Pinterest at this time, YouTube at this time. I do sometimes in advance. So I keep up with the news and what's happening with these platforms so I can get a sense of what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that you have to plan out your time. I can't emphasize that enough. You know, I'm part of that Video Ring Academy that's taught by Think Media, Sean Cannell, Heather Torres, and all them. And Heather Torres, she always reminds us like you need to plan out your days. Like you need to take a calendar, whether it be on your phone, your computer, or even just like a physical copy, and just plan out your days, your weeks, and say like I'm going to allow this much a lot of time for this, then this, and then this. And she said it's going to take your stress level from here all the way down to here because you'll know like okay, well this is the time when I need to really just plan out. I need to be working on this platform instead. But so do you do any? So you said you do planning process. How far along do you plan like out your time with when it comes to different platforms, Ethan?
It depends. I mean, usually I don't spend that much on like I'll spend watching and searching if I need to, but mostly comments an hour on Instagram. Mostly I try to respond to those. DMs sometimes if brands reach out to me, that takes a little bit of time as well. Also, I do have over bashed up content that I have in place in case if I get sick, stuff like that. I have a bunch of content that's rolled into my camera library, so I'm able to, do it. But if I do something on the spot, then I'll obviously post on the spot.
Yeah. And I think that that's one of the things is like, I used to use this excuse like, oh, well, my niche, I can't really do short form content in my niche. And I was humbled pretty quickly by people. They're like, you can do short form content in your niche. And I think that, you brought up a very great point with batch recording. We all don't know what happens. We can't predict the future. We can't predict like, oh, I'm going to be sick on the 21st or I'm going to be sick on the 19th. And when you come up sick and you have this big following of subscribers and everything, it's really good to have that up there and say like, all right, well, I'm sicker than a dog right now. I need to upload this instead, just so your subscribers, your followers, they know like what they know that they can count on you for some kind of a post. And even if it's just like a little short post, they're like, hey, look, Ethan posted something cool. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah. So that's why, I split my time up. I know what I'm doing. Even when I was in college, because I'm a student, so I'm able to figure that all out. Because even I was creating content, posting, doing that, managing a page, like I had a whole thing. So, I was able to do it all.
So here's a question for you. I'm going to ask you really quickly. Do you think Facebook is dead? Do you think that the platform in itself is dead? Or do you think that there's still a lot of room for growth and potential on Facebook as a content creator?
I don't think Facebook is dead
So if some,
because
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
because they are opening up more opportunities. There more programs are opening up. The AR community, which is the filters, uh, they did remove the audio from Facebook, but the groups are still going. There's a lot of stuff that is going, which people should be taking advantage of. They're having competitions for filter designers. I mean, that's a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah. And so I'm in that same boat. Like I agree. Like I don't think that Facebook is dead. I believe that they're trying to I don't believe they're trying to play catch up. I believe they're just trying to take something and put it into their own, make it into their own. There's a lot of people that you'll hear people say like, oh, well, Facebook is dead. No one really goes on there unless they're just, wanting to connect with friends or, wanting to advertise for their business. But really, I mean, a great example is Facebook Reels. The fact that they now pay creators, if you get accepted into for any of those who are listening, if you get accepted into the Facebook Reels program, they'll pay you for short form content. So it's kind of like the whole thing with. So obviously, you got to make sure it doesn't have the watermark of like TikTok or YouTube
Yeah.
or Instagram. But there's so much potential for that. And I wanted to get your take on like, do you feel that Facebook is kind of copying other platforms, or do you feel like that they are trying to take it and put their own spin on it?
It depends. I mean, Instagram and Facebook are the same company, which is Meta. So, I mean, they should be able to do that. Reels, bonuses, and Facebook bonuses. I feel like they did it in conjunction, but they were two separate things, two
Yeah.
separate entities.
So here's a question. I asked you about this I think it was on Clubhouse. How many short form video content videos should people be posting a day?
That honestly depends on, I mean, it depends on the platform and it depends on, what your audience wants or like what, I feel like what's a good enough amount, what feels good to you. I know a lot of new people ask me how many times should you post. The thing is, it depends, Sometimes people post one time, some people post two times, three times, etc. But for me as a creator, I post once a day on Instagram, probably twice a day on TikTok, once a day on YouTube Shorts, once a day on YouTube long form if I have a long form. On Facebook, I feel like just posting once is appropriate. I don't want to spam it.
Yeah.
And Pinterest once.
And I think you just brought up a great point that now Pinterest, and Pinterest has been doing this for a little while, but like you can post videos on Pinterest now. Like it used to be that we all know that Pinterest used to be just a website for like girls to like find crafts and things of that nature. Like I remember being in a singles congregation, and one of the church leaders was like, "Now, guys, you probably don't know about Pinterest, but when I say Pinterest, all the girls are gonna like their heads are gonna look up. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna catch their attention." But it's really interesting how like, it's kind of integrated from something that's just was in the beginning. I feel like that was just basically for women. That
It's
is for
home
Go ahead.
cooking. I said home cooking, fashion. Now it's like expanding.
Uh huh. And so there's a follow up question. Do you think it's going to be the next TikTok or the next YouTube Shorts, maybe the next like Instagram Reels kind of platform? Do you think that's the direction it's going to start going?
Well, for Pinterest, I mean, they're trying to incorporate shop as well. So I think they're trying to compete with TikTok as well because Pinterest is building their own API, which is integration, and then they're trying to integrate, or they're trying to compete with TikTok with the Shopify.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
and so I think that's one of the reasons why like so many people like Ethan say like you need to have a presence on all these platforms because you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you don't like and that, I speak for like I give that advice to myself because like I'm not really on Pinterest. I don't really do anything like that because I just have been basically focused on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on things of that nature, and so it's just really crazy to see. So
Yeah, I don't want to take up your whole, stream thing.
no, you're good. Like I'm more. This is a creator hangout. I love just talking with people about things, but I do want to go back to the chat real quick because there have been people that have been commenting. And so Bobby said a little while ago, he said TikTok is now allowing long form content. And so,
Yes. Yes, you have to upload via the TikTok website.
so you can't just like record something on your phone and just upload it on the app.
Yes, you have to do it via the TikTok website. I think for Android, I think there's 10-minute on Android. I think you can do it through Android 10-minute, but I don't have an Android. I have a Samsung Chromebook that acts like an Android. So I have to check it. I haven't checked it in a minute.
And then he also said it's like 10-minute videos I have and that feature and the lives. And so for those who don't know, like how many followers does a person have to have on TikTok in order to go live?
1,000.
Okay, so like if someone was just starting out and they said like, "Oh, I want to go live on TikTok," and they won't be able to do it unless they had 1,000, right?
Yes.
That makes sense because they want. It's kind of like the whole. You got to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube before you can get your customized link. That's what I kind of portray it as. And so, Nana says, "I'm not sure about TikTok being around for the next 5 to 10 years because they are doing long-term content. That is the down of TikTok trying to be something that it is not." That he said the downfall. So do you agree with that at all, or do you have something else to say about that?
I mean, right now at the moment, if it's it's gonna depend on how they're gonna do it. Like, we don't really know. Like,
Yeah.
it's in the air.
Yeah, and no, I agree with that. Like, you just kind of don't know, and especially like with how many crazy changes keep happening. A lot of people, as we all know, we're in the Great Resignation, where a lot of people have left their jobs and they're now going on to be entrepreneurs, and a lot of them have turned to online content creation because they felt like they could just do this on their own. And so going back to the chat, Sharkfin, he says so many small businesses rely on Facebook for marketing and monetization. So he's like far from dead. And then Bobby again commenting like it depends on the platform and how you use it. It depends on how you use the platform and if you have an audience already. He said that he's just barely starting to get a traffic on Facebook, and that's awesome. Like I mean, when I first joined Facebook, I just thought it was like a social media platform, which it was, like, oh, I can send a friend request to this girl I like, or I can send a friend request to my friend and we can play games with each other online, things of that nature. But I never imagined it could turn into something like this for content creators. But then going back and, Sharkfin was saying, awesome. But, kind of going down here, we had someone come up that joined in the chat. You got your main man, Lalo. He's like, sheesh, Ethan in the house. And so, and then Bobby said, we love it, Anthony and Ethan. Keep spreading knowledge. And so I think that, that kind of brings me to another point. Like, if you were to start a TikTok, like completely start over, like, do you know like how you would approach like, getting audience retention, getting that, getting those followers? Like, do you have like a game plan of like how you would do that?
Yeah, so well, since I actually have a Musical.ly account,
Okay.
so my account is very old.
Yeah.
So I might start a new TikTok again and figure out something that someone else hasn't done and then, execute it.
So in an interview one time, Mr. Beast, he said if he was to lose his account tomorrow, he would be able to regain all his subscribers within like the next like month or so. Maybe it was less, because he knew how to market his videos. He knew how the algorithm worked. So is that kind of how you feel about TikTok? Like, how the algorithm on TikTok works and that you'd be able to work it in your favor?
I mean, it depends. I mean, it's not like I know it, but it's like I would have to do tests and see what does well and then go from there.
Yeah. And I think that that's the important part, is like you have to do that research. Like, we all know that like you can take any niche and make it really interesting. So for example, I almost started a YouTube channel back in 2016. I was working at a grocery store, but I felt like my life wasn't as interesting because all I did was work at a grocery store. And when I was talking with with my mom about this, it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. She said you could have made it interesting, and I got to think about it. I'm like, she's right. Like, because I came across like some crazy experiences, whether it be crazy customers or crazy experiences like, I was almost crushed by a pallet jack the last couple months of working at that grocery store. And so I just feel like, you have to do that research. If you want
Yeah.
to succeed on any of these platforms, you have to take something like, Ethan, you, for example, you jump on trends. You said last night in Clubhouse, you get emails about upcoming trends, things that are trending right now. And so you jump on that trend. And I think that's fantastic. A lot of people, forget that they try to post content for what they want to watch, not what their viewer wants to watch. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it honestly depends. I mean, there's trend reports I get, there's stuff that some platforms put out publicly, and I just look at what they're talking about and I see what is gonna be good enough for my audience and I post it. And I rewatch my content and, I enjoy the content I make.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, there's a saying I always hear on Clubhouse. I hear it on other platforms. If you aren't willing to watch your content, you probably shouldn't be making the content. And I cannot emphasize that one enough, because like if your content has a lot of language, or if it has a lot of inappropriate content, whether it be like nudity or things of that nature, and if you don't feel comfortable in like watching this content, then why are you even posting this video? Because if you don't like it, more than likely 9 out of 10 times your viewers are not going to like this content.
Right.
But going back to the chat, Lalo commenting on my beard. I like having the beard, Lalo, but at the same time it gets annoying with the making sure it looks groomed and well trimmed. But then Sharkfin, he said TikTok has to figure out how to reconcile with the portrait versus landscape aspect ratio thing, and I think they'll be just fine. And he also said that the trend is your friend, as we say in trading, LOL. And it's so true. Like, I'll give a great example. This week we have an Apple event coming up. And I'm going to be watching it, obviously, and I'm going to be doing a live stream afterwards, just getting, talking with people about things that Apple announced. And I did the same thing on the last at the last Apple event, there's a lot of people who think, oh, well, everyone and their brother or their sister is going to be doing reactions to this kind of stuff. And so I feel like there's no spot or place for me. So like if someone was to come up to you, Ethan, and say like, oh, well, there's no spot or place for you for your kind of content, your trending content, what would you say to them? Like, how would you prove them otherwise?
I would just say, look, think what you want to think, and I'll put out the content.
Yeah,
You know?
you ignore the naysayers, the ones that, because we all know there's trolls on the internet. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether it be if you're playing an online game with your Xbox, or if you're on Facebook, Twitter, the list could go on and on. There's trolls. And so there's one thing that people like, Sean Cannell and Heather Torres, they always bring this up in their interviews and everything, that they always hear this excuse that people are like, oh, well, YouTube's so overly saturated, there's no place for me on
It's
YouTube.
not.
And it's not. It's the second largest search engine on the internet. People go on there for basic things like how to change a car battery. When with TikTok, like you can find, like, especially for my niche, I could find like photography fails. Like, if I want some humor with photography, I can just type in I can just basically go on there and I can find some photography fails. But that just brings up another point. Didn't you say they got rid of the discovery feature on TikTok recently?
Yes, there's no discovery page, but there is at the bottom like trending sounds and trending, but there's no discovery. But also you can type in any search term to TikTok now and anything pops up.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, TikTok is really trying to compete with like YouTube and Instagram and just the metaverse in general. So where do you see the Web 3.0 going in the future, like with regards to like online content creation?
I don't really know. I know a little bit about Web3, but I'm not
Okay, well,
like I have an Oculus.
uh-huh.
I do like, the I look at the OpenSea marketplace. I don't
Yeah,
I look at that stuff, but I don't really like there's like, the Oculus games, like the Beat Saber and there's other games that I enjoy, but I'm not like part of that Web3 like world, like, building stuff and all that.
yeah. And so here's a follow-up question. Where do you see TikTok and like Instagram and just the metaverse going in the future? Like, do you see them like growing exponentially, or do you see them like kind of being a thing of the past, like MySpace?
I don't know. I know Instagram is rolling out an NFT feature
Mm-hmm.
soon, but that's pretty much all I know.
Now, do you know much about NFTs? Like, do you know? Like, have you done
I
any?
I've know people who talk about NFTs. I was given one via Twitter. I'm knowledgeable, but not really knowledgeable. But I do know how like the blockchain works, but I'm not like super expert
Right.
knowledge.
So if someone was to come up to you, Ethan, and say, "Hey, where can you point me to learn about NFTs? I really want to get into this." Where would you refer them to?
I would refer them to this dictionary called the NFT Dictionary. It has all the terms that people talk about. I'd
Okay.
point them to OpenSea, which is like the marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
and also I would also bring them to for wallets, MetaMask or Coinbase Wallet, and if they
Okay.
want like a bank, what do you call it, like a bank? I would have them use Coinbase.
Okay. And I think that that's important to know, because there's a lot of people that, like, I mean, I myself have been starting to get a little curious about NFTs, because like I see people ranting and raving and saying like, NFTs are the greatest thing. Gary Vaynerchuk has even said, he's like, I believe that in the future that NFTs are going to be basically your ticket to getting on to airplanes. And I can honestly see that. There's a lot of people that like they have NFTs, and like there's a guy that lives here in Utah. Him and his son, well, him and his family, I should say. They live down in southern Utah. It's called What's Inside. His channel is called What's Inside. Have you ever heard of that channel?
Yeah, I know them. They destroy things.
Yeah.
What's inside? Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen them.
Yeah. It's a great channel, right? It's great content. like they've gotten really in, like the, Dan, the dad, and then his son. I can't remember his son's name. I apologize if you guys are watching this. I'm a big fan of you guys, but I just can't remember the name right now. But like they've really gotten into the whole NFTs thing, and like they proudly display them. Like I just think that NFTs are going to be kind of like the wave of the future. But Ethan, like I understand if you don't want to keep talking, I get that. But I appreciate you coming up, man. I really appreciate it. Like, do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't. One more thing, actually. There's some events here in LA where they're using NFTs as like tickets to get in.
Yeah, see, and that just kind of reinforces what Gary Vee said, that like NFTs are going to be the way that most people get into events, get on airplanes. But before you
Yeah.
jump off, Sharkfin just had this comment. He said, "Sadly, most NFTs still lose buyers money. Either the market loses interest in the artwork itself, and or the underlying coin loses value." So what do you think about that?
So first of all, I could say do your own research. Second of all, make sure to know what project you're putting your money into. Third of all, the tokens you're buying, make sure you're buying like reliable tokens. So the best place for that in education is Coinbase, that has, it breaks down what the tokens do and what is the most popular, what are people buying.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I know.
No, you're good. That's great advice. Like you have to do research, and I would highly recommend Coinbase. Like I signed up with them, but at the time when I signed up with them, I didn't have a job, and so I just like, oh well, maybe I'll come back to this when I have a job. And so that was like 3 or 4 months ago, and so I'll probably jump back on. But yeah, NFTs and just basically digital marketing in general, I think, are really gonna start taking off in the next like year or two, because people are really starting to rely and depend on those kind of services to get across, especially like to be successful content creators. So
Also, never give your seed phrase out to anyone on the internet.
yeah, exactly. There's definitely, that's one of the many things
And the scams.
Yeah, you gotta. So those are definitely two things you gotta watch out for. Number one, you gotta watch out for scams, because I think I read an article or something somewhere that there was a lot of like Coinbase kind of scams going about on the internet. So you have to be careful of that. And then just keeping the seascape phrase, confidential to yourself, like, that's important as well.
Also, the Etherscan is the best site to check your transactions.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, cool, Ethan. I don't want to keep you. I know you probably have a lot to do. You probably got some clubhouse rooms to go host and such. But I thank you for coming up and talk with me about this, because this has been a great conversation. And if you want to stick around in the chat, we're actually going to probably be doing some auditing of people's YouTube thumbnails, and just maybe giving tips and suggestions to people on their YouTube thumbnails. And so, yeah, man, thanks for coming up. Like I know you said you didn't want to take up the whole conversation. So
Yeah.
So if anyone is interested, I will put in the chat here in a little while his YouTube channel and his TikTok. You guys can follow him on there, on both those platforms. This guy is he's a clubhouse celebrity. Like let's just put it in brass tacks. Like Ethan Klein official is a celebrity in Clubhouse. Like everybody knows that if Ethan's in a room, you better be in that room, because it's probably either he's dropping gems or someone else is dropping gems, and that's why he's in there. So
anyways, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, man, for coming on. I don't have to give you a hard time for not showing up like last time when you said, oh, I forgot. But I'm glad you came up, and appreciate you taking your time out of your Sunday evening to talk with me about this kind of stuff. So thanks, Ethan. I appreciate you.
No problem. I'm going to stick on. How do I
can remove you. Are you just going to stay in the chat?
Yeah, I'll stay in the chat.
Okay, I'll remove you from the stream. You're good. All right, guys. Well, that was a great conversation, but really, I love talking about the content creation and anything that pertains to content creation, because this is such a fun time each week that I look forward to, is being able to communicate with you guys and talk about these things that a lot of people don't know much about. And so I told some of my Clubhouse peeps on Instagram I was gonna have a special surprise. And so hopefully some of them are still watching. I would hope and pray that they are. But I have been working on a new video. And this new video is a gear review. A little backstory on this gear review is that I won some gear from Think Media. Being a member of Video Ranking Academy, VRA, I won, the GVM lights. I have one right there, and I have one right there. Can't see them, and I purposely do that. But I also won some Rode Go Wireless 2 mics from them, and so all in all, I probably won about $1,000 worth of gear from Think Media, and I'm really excited to talk with you guys about this because audio is important. I cannot emphasize that enough. Lalo, this guy right here, he was saying to me in a Clubhouse room, he's like, your audio is already great. He's like, but that just improved your audio like that much. But without further ado, let me share my screen real quick because I want to show you guys a clip from this upcoming video that's actually going to be dropping tomorrow. So if you guys would like that, type a 1 in the chat right now if you guys would like to see a little sneak peek of that. Let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to get ready to share it. But I would love to hear some feedback on it. And if you would like to watch, if you would like to see a little sneak peek of it, type a 1 in the chat, or I'll even pull a Professor Nez. Type a hashtag yeah in the chat. So, but until then, I really just want to talk to you guys about content creation. I'm gonna give people a little bit of a chance to respond and type in the chat, but really, content creation is the wave of the future, in my honest opinion. I cannot emphasize that enough. I say that line a lot. I cannot emphasize that enough. I say that a lot, and people in Clubhouse, they know I say that, or I say that's just my 2 cents. But the reason I say that is because a lot of companies are either going to YouTube to draw in an audience, or they're contacting content creators via YouTube because a lot of these bigger platforms or companies have realized that they can save money by, instead of investing in like a 10-second spot on a commercial, they can contact these different content creators, whether it be on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever the case may be. They can reach out to them and say like, hey, we really want to sponsor your video if you will be willing to talk about our product on this chat. So really, when it comes to content creation, this is the wave of the future. And if you're not willing to get on the train's going to leave without you. I'm very blunt when it comes to that because, take it from me, I was going to start a channel in 2016. It took me until another 4 years to start a channel. If I had started in 2016, I would probably have already grown a major audience. I would have been able to start a whole lot of different things. But I chose to have the attitude, well, my life's not interesting enough. You can take anything in your life and make it interesting. I can think of several stories from my time working at that grocery store in 2016 that people just would have loved. But I'm getting a lot of responses in the chat. So let me share my screen so I can bring this up. And hang on just 1 sec. Let me share this. All right. So this is the video that I've been working on. Now, keep in mind, I'm still going through the closed captioning and correcting grammatical errors because, technology is great, but it still has its shortcomings. But this is just a little sneak peek of what I've been working on. There would be that they're going to show the grime and the dirt and the junk and everything a lot more.
Well, also probably your own personal outfit has a lot more darker colors than lighter colors, right?
Yeah, and plus, I'm like Batman, where I'm like, I prefer black. Like, I'm a total nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, you'll come to see in this channel, I will put a little excerpt of like nerd, like comic book or Star Wars kind of stuff in this. But that's how I feel. So what are your thoughts about the Rode wireless mic?
As I said thus far, like it seems to be running pretty well. I don't think you've had any problems with it, no matter what the length was. So it obviously is working and doing well. You can actually even see the levels of the microphone and how loud it is and how well it's being received. So obviously it's very functional and not even a problem for whatever it is that you're doing with it. So, I mean, I think it's a fantastic product.
Yeah, I was just showing them like that. You can see on the screen right here. That's when you see that bar that keeps going up and down. That's us talking. So that's pretty cool. Let's just keep walking because I don't want us to get hit by a car. All right. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong screen. That was my bad. I'm going to stop sharing that screen. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of a sneak peek. And so it's really fun to be able to do what I do and review tech, talk about photography, talk about videography, and get friends involved. That friend actually is a guy that, and you'll come to see in the video tomorrow when it's released, that he corrects me in it. He corrects me. I said that I've known him since 2007. He's like, it was actually a lot longer than that. Then I was like, oh man, I felt really bad. But really, I love being able to be a content creator, I guess. And if anyone watching, they know that I don't even really like this term, YouTuber. I like being a YouTuber. It's fun. It's really just being able to capture some moments in time from either my life or from helping you to be a better content creator. But really, I'm excited for you guys to see this video because, you know, we filmed this at a location here in Layton, Utah, that I was actually wanting to do a live stream from, but I didn't feel like it was necessarily good or decent enough for my niche. And so I ended up not doing it because I didn't want it to hurt my analytics, my ARs, my CTRs, all that kind of stuff. But going back to the chat, see, we had a lot of people just like, ooh, sneak peek, one, yeah. And then I like this one. Sharkfin's like, yeah, do it, Anthony, do it. And he's like, that's a Wedding Crashers reference. Oh, Sharkfin. They broke the mold. Well, they broke the mold when they made you. But then going back to the chat, we have another person saying, yeah. And then it's just like, and then Bobby's like, cool seeing captions. So Bobby, this is from Think Media. Sean Cannell and Heather Torres, they both say like you should start having these closed captions on your videos, because there's a lot of times people are either at work or they're in a situation where they can't really turn up the volume, but they want to know what you're saying, what you're talking about. So having these closed captions is really helpful with that. But yeah, I love this. And so thanks, Sharkfin. I appreciate you. Yeah, I really can't wait for you guys to see the rest of the video, because like I've been working on this. I've had to do a lot of editing process. And the great thing about being a content creator is that like you have the support system. You have people that are like, ooh, we can't wait. And then Elvira's like, awesome. I liked how you're out and not just sitting inside. Yeah, and that's one thing that I've been trying to do a lot more with my channel is like I don't want to just sit behind like this camera or behind my computer and just show you guys like how to edit something, because that's great. And I'm not dogging on anyone who does that for their channels or anything, but you gotta expand your horizon. You take something like a niche and you put your own twist on it. And that's what I've come to realize, and that's what I've been taught. But that's really, you got to keep it interesting, because if you keep it interesting, more people are going to be more likely to return, and your click-through rate's going to go up. Your retention rates are going to go up. Everything is just going to improve. And so I love the fact that I'm able to share this journey with people. I like being able to talk about that. But if anyone would like to come up on stage, like we're actually here in the next little while, we're actually going to be doing some thumbnail audits. I thought about this last night. If you want your channel audited, like if you want your thumbnails audited, send me a message on Twitter or on Instagram, and with your link, and I will definitely. It'll be like a first come first serve kind of basis, because I don't want to be, having people I don't want people expecting their channels to be their thumbnails to be reviewed and other people cutting in front of them. So that's why I say it's going to be a first come, first serve basis. So if you would like and you won't just be getting my feedback from this, you'll be getting the people in the comments feedback from this as well, because I love helping people improve their channels. I had my first channel audit a couple months ago, and my channel was literally torn to shreds in a matter of speaking. It was Professor Nez, and one of the main things he talked about, and he did this all out of love. He said, you need to improve your thumbnails. You as a person, your thumbnails needs to be bigger. And if she's watching Grow with Angie, you told me that even before then. Then Christina Smallhorn also told me that. So then, of course, me being the stubborn person that I was like, I'm just going to ignore that for now. But then once Professor Nez was like tearing my channel apart, I was like, oh man, Angie and Christina were both real. They were both right. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I feel about this. Let's see here. One sec, sorry. Okay, so let me go to my Twitter. Someone just actually sent me a message that they want my input on a thumbnail. So let me pull this up real quick. So the person that wants their thumbnail critiqued is Tech for Your Needs. Excuse me, Nano. So Nano, can you send me that? Can you send me that to me in a direct message on Twitter so I can just pull it up for everybody on here, so we can all just kind of give you some positive, constructive criticism? If you could send that, that would be great. I'm not sure which one you're exactly referring to, and that's why I'm asking you to do that. That would be great. But yeah, what else would you guys like to know about content creation? What would you like to know about anything to do with content creation? Like, I'm all open. I'm going to be doing this for the next little while. But yeah, I'm here to answer questions, here to have a fun time with all you crazy guys and girls and enjoy life. But, and looking at all this upcoming stuff that is really that's starting to unfold with content creation, like, I'm excited. I mentioned with Ethan that LinkedIn has announced that they're going to start testing the waters of Reels on their platform. I mean, and if you've been on LinkedIn for as long as I've been on LinkedIn, I feel like I've been on LinkedIn for an eternity. Maybe not as long as Professor Nez has been creating content. I'm not going to be blasphemous like that. No offense, Nez, I love you, but I don't want to get struck by lightning. But when I first heard about LinkedIn, it was told to me that LinkedIn is like the business side of Facebook. It's where you go to find potential employers or employees. And it's all about business on there. But as the years progressed, that was 2012. And it was, and it was just one of those things that I was on there, and it had already been on there for a little while, but it improved. But yeah, it was exciting to see it was exciting to hear and to watch how LinkedIn has really improved. One sec. Nano has sent me a message. Let's see here. Okay. Come on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again so that everyone can see this. And I really want to get people's input on this. And again, please be respectful. Oh, sorry, that was my ex. That was my bad. Gotta love lives. Let me share my screen real quick so that people can see this. Okay, so this is Nano's live stream. It's his countdown timer. So I'm going to turn the volume down because it's kind of loud. and I don't want to scare people away. So you're definitely, Nano, you're definitely keeping up with the theme of your colors. Can already see a few things I would change, but let's just keep watching it for a sec. I like the music. Nice music, man. That's cool. All right, so it's just gonna keep counting down. So let me stop sharing this. So, what are people's thoughts before I give my opinions? Like, what are people's thoughts on this? Like, is there any improvements that you would give to Nano on his live stream countdown before I say what I would change? Nano. First off, I got to give you credit, man. Like, that's cool. Like, did you create that in Canva? I'm assuming you created that in Canva, right, Nano? That's cool. That was really cool. I like that you kept with your colors. But does anyone have any comments on that? Like, do you have anything you would like to you'd say you would improve? Let's see here. And so Sharkfin says, I love the idea of the countdown timer, and the branding and the music are on point. Yeah, and I like as a content creator, you gotta create your personal brand. And everyone is starting to know that Nano is all about the green. He's all about, and just from seeing that, you can see that he had his insignia for his logo, and that just so if anyone's watching that, they can definitely see that. Number one, they know whose live stream this is. But so my only suggestion, Nano, would be try to make the lettering a little. I mean, the countdown timer a little bit more noticeable. That's just me. And again, it could even be showing up different, like when you actually do the live stream. But for me, I feel like if you could just kind of make that a little bit more bold, that's what I would change. But other than that, like, I really like the music. I liked how you really got, you're getting people excited about it. I have yet to even do something like that for my live streams. I just do the generic ones right here on Streamyard. I'm actually going to probably be jumping on and really getting those all that kind of stuff figured out here soon. I'm a college student, so like my time is kind of limited. But and even Ethan, who was just up on stage with me, he was like, it was good. And I agree. And yeah, I kind of figured that green is your favorite color. Growing up, green was one of my favorite colors too. So just as long as you don't turn green and say Nano Smash, like that's all I ask. You don't turn green and say Nano Smash, and that you keep a shirt on. That's all I ask. Sorry, that's a little. I'm a nerd. Like I said like when you guys saw in that little sneak peek of the video, like I'm a nerd. Like I bring up comic book stuff all the time. Like I'm a super nerd. But that would definitely be my only suggestion. You would be to try to make the numbering a little bit more bold, because from my point of view, it kind of felt like it was blending in too much with with everything else that was in there. But the music was great. The volume was great. I liked how you really were trying to get people interested. The music was very upbeat. You don't want some sob kind of depressing music before you get people interested in your live streams. Yeah, I'm serious, Nano. Keep your shirt on and don't turn green and say Nano Smash. Like, that's all I ask. We don't want the incredible Nano going berserk and seeing him on the 9:00 news that he went berserk and was smashing everything. And see, Shark Fan even agrees with me. We don't need to see that. We need to keep this a family friendly environment, right? Right. But that's really the only kind of. But other than that, I like that it's a great shade of green, because that's the same green that's in your logo, right, Nano? I think that was really cool. Like and just looking at it again, it was really cool. I liked how you really just were, your lettering was different sizing, and I like that. I like that use. the only other thing I would say is that like you may want to have your welcome a little bit more inviting, because like you want to make sure everyone's welcome to this, right, Nano? I just, for my personal take, and again, take this with a grain of salt. This is just my 2 cents. There it is. There's one of the famous lines for that I've always been saying. I guess I need to make a shirt that says my 2 cents. But my suggestion is that if I was to see that, now if I was a new subscriber, I would be more inclined to view your live stream if that welcome part was a little bit more inviting. I'm not saying yours isn't inviting, because it is, but just make it a little bit more inviting, whether it be making it a little bit bigger, but not overly big. That's just, again, that's my 2 cents. I definitely need to create a shirt that says my 2 cents on there. And really, I'd probably sell a ton of those shirts if I created a shirt like that. But really, like I thought it was great. I thought you did a good job with it. Good job, Nano. I definitely we could all take some cues from Nano. He spends a lot of time on Canva and making some really great thumbnails and countdowns and everything. So good job, Nano. But yeah, so here I'll share. I'm trying to. Let me pull up I'm going to share my screen, and I'll show you guys some of my thumbnails that I have made over the years. I shouldn't say over the years, over the past year or so. And let me pull up Canva real quick. Now, if you are not using Canva, I would highly recommend that you use it and really just get excited about it. And so here, let me let's move all right, get back to Streamyard, share my screen once again, and please understand that, you know, as a content creator, I have a lot of tabs open, as you can see. All right, but these are some of them that I created. Like, you know, this right here, this was my mom's YouTube channel art that I kind of revamped her channel art and made it look really cool. That I really liked how that turned out. It kind of made, but that's just for channel art. That's not really for anything else. So if you go right here, so as you can see right here, these are I had to go back and I had to revamp a lot of these, because me as a person, I was really small, and even in that, like, I still feel like I'm really small right there. With this one, I had to go and revamp my mom's because I wanted to make sure hers big. Like, and you know, even with these, like, I had to revamp them. What I've been really trying to get away from is adding a lot of text into my thumbnails. I don't really like having a lot of text in my thumbnails, I've come to find, because I feel like it's just kind of distracting. But with that being said, Elvira sent me a message, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen just for a sec, so that she can, so I can respond to her. All right, let me accept primary. All right, so Elvira, let me pull up your YouTube channel real quick. All right, I found you. All right, I'm going to share my screen again so that everyone can see Elvira's channel. Sound like a plan? Cool. Sounds like a plan. I just answered for everybody. You're welcome. All right, so this is Elvira's channel. So let's see here. Looking at your thumbnails. So my first thoughts right now would be right here with the Sam's Club Aldi, this Aldi one. I would change the Sam's Club and I would change that blue color to a different color, because it's kind of blending in with everything else. But that's just me. Like, I mean, I know you have it highlighted, or you have you have it kind of highlighted so you can see the little white outer line of the words, but I would still change that. Like a very popular color that a lot of people have a tendency to go to that kind of captures people's attention is like red or orange, like, because you have some red right there, so you could definitely change that to red. I would definitely do that. And isn't Aldi, like, I don't remember what their logos colors are because we don't have them here in Utah, but I've seen them when I went back to Oklahoma. But let's see here. And so again, like, I mean, I like your concept with this one right here, but I feel like at the very bottom, I can't see the lettering too well, and I'm on a PC, so I can only imagine it's actually a lot smaller on a mobile phone. And then even like with this one, like I know that the Aldi is it's great. That's a nice color, but it's also kind of blending in with the background, so it's kind of hard to read. I really like what you did with the watermelon and Mountain Dew logo. I thought that's very clever. But again, I would change the grocery haul to a different color, just because like right here where it says the M, it's kind of blending in with the white right there. But what are other people's thoughts on it? Nano is actually the Bruce Banner of content creators, a smart and nice guy who cares a lot, helps other people. I agree with that. I genuinely agree with that. So Elvira, I don't know. So going back to your channel here, I'll share it again with everybody. I do like your concepts. I feel like if you could kind of revamp some of these thumbnails, you could definitely get a little bit more of a following. I like that's really great grammar, Tony. Good job. I like this. I like that it shows the sandwich, but at the same time, like, I feel like the sandwich needs to be bigger, because if you're really trying to get people to, want to go out, if you want them to watch your video on ciabatta sandwich, like, you want to make this thing look as desirable as you can. Like, you want to make people's mouths water, and in retrospect, and same with this, like, you want to make the snacks that much bigger. Like, and that's an issue that, like, I had, where I was making a lot of my stuff really small, and that's what Nez told me. He's like, it needs to be bigger. And even with this, like, making, actually, no, that's actually a pretty decent size for that. But my issue with that is that doggies like treats that right there, so it's just kind of overlaying everything else. And again, the whole text, it's really hard to read from my point of view, and I can only imagine that on a mobile device it's even harder to read. So other than that, like, I mean, I like the banner, but I would somehow try to make your banner a little bit more legible. Like, I like the concept you have behind it, and I'm not trying to boast about anyone's, but I'll give you, for example, my first banner, YouTube banner, Nez tore apart. He said it needs to change. He really just said, like, it needs to be updated, and once I changed it, people really liked it. But let's go back to Nano. I know Nano's the one that made the thumbnail for this. So, like, we all got to give credit to Nano for the thumbnail for the live stream, because that's what Nano does best. He's really helpful with helping other content creators. So she just click on the videos to view the thumbnails. All right. She said, my issue is if I make them bigger, they'll go off the screen. Elvira, are you using Canva? If you are, I can probably sometime kind of give you a few steps. Or I'm sure that if Colin watches this on the replay, he can give you some tips. Same with Nez. And there's a lot of us that can really help you with improving those thumbnails. Yeah, I would definitely try to change that, because I liked your concept of it, like what you're trying to portray. But it, so here, for example, I'll show you. Let me pull up my Facebook. I'll show you guys my old Facebook. This was my Facebook banner art. but it was also for my channel as well. Let me pull it up. Go to my profile. All right, let me share my screen one more time. Now, I just updated my banner a little bit ago, but I mean, so this is what it used to be. Very basic, right? You know, and at the time I was really proud of it. I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. I love it. But then once Nez got a hold of it, he tore it apart. And he did it all out of love, constructive criticism, but he's like, this has got to change. But then if you go to my channel, this is the new one. So it looks a lot better, and I can even show it up right here. So that's my new banner art right there. And so it's looks a lot more professional. People like it a lot more. And I've actually had a few people compliment me on it. But let me stop removing that. Hey, look who decided to show up. A-Train is in the house. This guy he's a very cool guy. I'm not going to lie. So you've never used Canva. So Elvira, I would highly recommend that you use Canva for this. Nano can attest. He would agree with this, that Canva is probably one of the best for using when it comes to YouTube channel art. There's the free version. There's also the paid version. I'm an affiliate. Like if you do click the link in the description below, it's a shameless plug, but I'm an affiliate. So if you use my link, I'll get a cut off of that. But I would highly recommend using Canva because, like you, I used to use Photoshop for everything, for my thumbnails, for everything. And I'm not ragging on Photoshop. I use Photoshop all the time with my photography. But I would much rather but once I found, what I'm trying to say is, once I found out about Canva, it just took my YouTube thumbnails, my channel art to a whole new level. And I will also put in here another website you can check out. It's called Unsplash.com. This is a royalty-free website where creators and photographers have put up a lot of like photos and everything that you can use. But at the top of that, keep in mind they do advertise for iStock photos, and you do have to pay for those. But there are a lot of when it comes to that kind of stuff, like there's a lot of royalty-free stuff. Like, I mean, Canva is great, and I'm not knocking on Canva, but they are limited in their photos. But that photo you saw is actually a photo that in my banner is actually one I took. So, but I want to go back to the chat real quick. Are you talking about your thumbnails, Lalo? I would love to. I would love to talk about your thumbnails. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was getting really frustrated there when I was trying to improve it because I was wanting to make it look better and improve. But again, for those who are wondering, that's the website, unsplash.com. And so Lalo says, I think Photoshop is still a beast, just that Canva has less of a learning curve and is intuitive for beginners and design. And I agree with that. Like I said, like I'm not dogging on Photoshop. Like I've used Photoshop for years, ever since I was like a sophomore in high school. Like that's how long I've used Photoshop. But when it comes to content creation, like great example, my first few thumbnails I created with Photoshop were garbage. They were very bland and blah, in my opinion. And once I found out that Canva existed, I started kind of going back and revamping. But really what helped me was signing up for the Pro Edition of Canva. The great thing about Canva is that you can pay monthly or you can pay annually. It is a little bit pricey, but they will show you like how much you'll save annually in comparison to monthly. Right now I do monthly. Here in the near future, I want to start doing annually because like I just want to have that taken out once a year, kind of like my my website for my photography. But going back to the chat, okay, so you understand so I would Since you're more of like a grocery haul, you're kind of like A-Train's channel. If anything, go on there, find a few photos you like, and then reach out to one of us in your community, and we can try to help you improve your channel art and your thumbnails. Like I'm sure the more than half of us in here would love to help you with that. Thanks, Nano. I appreciate you a lot on that. It took a little bit. Yeah, and that was well said, Lalo. So Lalo says it's because some people on Clubhouse are trying to say that Photoshop is trash only because they never experimented with the potential, while Canva is more user-friendly. And Lalo, I completely agree with you on that. I love Photoshop. Like I'm an OG when it comes to Photoshop. Like I used the first time I ever used Photoshop was the one where you had to buy the program. You had to pay like $700 for the program. But after a while, Adobe started realizing that they were wasting money just coming out with these new updates when they could just do what they do now, where they just update it in the cloud. You pay a monthly subscription. Unless you're like me, who I get it for free right now because I'm a college student. But I know that once this next year's up and I'm out of college, I will have to start paying for it. But then Nano said, when it comes to content creation, simplify your process for an easier out. No need to make life complicated. No, and that's true. You don't need to make it complicated. And that's one reason why a lot of people will tell you that Canva is great for creating thumbnails, for creating banner art, and creating so much more, because it's user friendly. A lot of people can use it. Even if you feel like you can't afford the paid version, the free version is still just as great, honestly. Yeah, Photoshop is great. I love Photoshop. We know what you meant for sure. But Lalo, if you want to, Lalo, a question for you would be, and it's the same one that Sharkman has. Which do you use for thumbnails? Oh, so you use a mixture of, yeah. Actually, that is a good question, Lalo. Do you use Photoshop for thumbnails, or do you use Canva for thumbnails? Let us know. And so Elvira says, as a graphic designer, that is what I've learned and is learned and used for years is the Adobe Creative Suite. And that's great. A lot of people don't know how to use Adobe programs. It's a definite learning curve. When I first started getting into using Adobe programs like Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere Pro, it took a little bit. Like I really just had to kind of understand the tutorials and kind of try to work my way around it. And that's great. Photoshop is great. Like I said, I'm not dogging on Photoshop, but are you wanting your thumbnails audited, Lalo, or was it your YouTube channel art that you were wanting audited? And was it for your new channel or for your old channel? Because I know you have the two channels now. But yeah, I love Photoshop. I think Photoshop's great. It works wonders, especially like when I'm trying to fix photos or when I'm trying to combine two photos. I love my Photoshop application. It's amazing. And yeah, honestly, like I would highly recommend anyone who's getting into photography and video, well, I guess photography, to use Photoshop. But I do know of thousands of people who don't use Photoshop. My oldest brother / mentor, he doesn't use Photoshop really. He uses Lightroom. But the great thing about Adobe products is that they're all transferable throughout the network. But yeah, Lalo, let us know if it's your thumbnails you're wanting audited on your new channel or on your old channel, or if it's your YouTube channel art, because I would love to help you out with that. And give my honest feedback. But Elvira, just know that this was all just constructive criticism. Take everything that myself and others have given with a grain of salt. We're just here trying to help you to improve. And that's why I highly recommend Canva. I have been using them for over a year now, and it's great. I love using Canva. I know that there's a lot of people in the room that they may not even like. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that may say like, "Oh, I don't like Canva. It's just so basic and boring." And that's true. Like, I'm not denying that. But for me, Canva is very helpful. But Sharkfin said, some people say Affinity is even better than Photoshop, but I'm sure that that program / app has its own learning curve, and I'm sure it does. Like, I've never used that app. I've been an Adobe guy, and I'm an OG Adobe guy. Like, seriously, like, if I could, I don't think I have the program anymore, but I used to have the program where you had to install it on your PC, wait for it to install, and then you had to do the updates. But yeah, Elvira, of course, we want to help you succeed. And so my recommendation would be this for you. Go on Canva, try to find some decent attention attracting backgrounds. There's a good, and then also use that unsplash.com, and then reach out to one of us that are in your community, and we'd be more than happy to help you with this and really help you to improve your thumbnails and your channel art. So Elvira says Affinity is only for Apple though. Yeah, I'm not sure, Elvira. Sharkfin can probably answer that a little bit more than I can, because I've only used Photoshop. I love Photoshop. I'm a big Photoshop fan. I actually, in one of my classes, that's what we were required to. And so yeah, he said Elvira, not that I'm aware of. A lot of those kind of programs, Elvira, they're usually you can use them either on Mac or on PC. So I would definitely look into that. And if you have any questions on that, I'm sure Sharkfin can answer that. But if you have any questions on anything else, like especially with regards to Canva, just let us know. We would love to help you on that. If anyone else would like to have their thumbnails audited, I would be more than happy to give my feedback. Granted, I've been doing this for a little while. I'm not an OG like Professor Nez or like Lalo. Lalo's an OG of YouTube. He's a definite OG of YouTube. I love that he's been on this platform since the age of 11. Ethan's been on here since he was 13. And if you were to talk to Professor Nez, he'd say that he's been live streaming since 1574. I don't know so my joke with him is, oh, so you are a time traveler. I get it now. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, any other questions for me? Because I know we're coming up on the half-hour mark. I'm going to be ending this stream in probably about another 15-20 minutes. If anyone wants their thumbnails audited, I'd love to give you some positive feedback and really just help you to be a better content creator, because this is all stuff that I wish I would have known when I first started. And YouTube is getting all this feedback. And honestly, it was because of people like Lalo and others. But okay, so Lalo, is it your thumbnails you want audited, or is it your channel art? I was trying to ask you that question earlier. I just don't know which one it is that you're wanting me to look at. If you could just comment and let me know which one it is you wanted me to look at, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it and bring it up for everyone to look at. But really, when it comes down to it, thumbnails are important. I cannot emphasize that enough. I cannot stress it enough. That's really what's going to get you your click. If it just looks like a boring and bland thumbnail, they're not going to be as likely to click on it. I'm being honest when I say that, because a lot of people, they want to see those cheesy YouTube faces, like the ones where you're like really excited, and so you really got to. It's basically like your selling point, in my honest opinion. Oh, you did? Sorry, there was my brain's kind of going out the window right now. I apologize. Let me go back to the comments. Let's see here. Lala, I'm just gonna have to have you comment again, because I'm not seeing it. I was going through the previous chats and I can't find it. So if you could just tell me which one it is you're wanting, I would be happy to bring up your channel. But Nano says, one thing that helped you in your content creation is practice every aspect of the creation to improve. And that's so true. And that's why I always stand behind Sean Cannell's famous phrase, 1% better with every video. It's a very important way to go about it, because you want to improve like 1% every time. And even the big time creators, they still improve 1% every time. Yeah, they may have a handle on, they may know what people are looking for and what can get them that click-through rate, but they still improve 1%. I mean, a great example is Mr. Beast. He just put out a new video yesterday, and it was a major step up from his last video, and I was actually thoroughly impressed with it. I was impressed with it. But let me look real quick. Okay, so it's on your Spanish thumbnails. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it didn't come up. That's kind of strange that it didn't come up on the chat, and I apologize, Lalo. But let me just comment. Let me just pull up this comment. Sharkfin says Lewis agreed. The way to get to Carnegie Hall is to practice, 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 and that's exactly correct. But let me pull up your channel, Lalo. One sec. Oops, that's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. All right. All right, so I found your channel, Lalo. I'm going to share my screen again so everyone can see it. You can see all my enormous tabs, and I apologize for that, just as a life of a content creator. Let's see here. So this is Lalo's channel, and honestly, man, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm impressed with your channel. Like, yeah, and I did subscribe because I was impressed with it. I mean, obviously, I don't speak much Spanish, so I don't really understand what you're saying in a lot of these, but I like I'll first give you some positive feedback. Is I like how you're very excited. Is that the same? You have the same kind of concept on your new channel, right, Lalo? Except this is like blue or something. So let me know if that's accurate. But I like how you look excited in these. Like, I think one of my favorite thumbnails so far is probably this one where you and your friend are showing the broken phone. It could be a friend or it could be a brother. I'm not sure who it is. I apologize. I don't understand much Spanish. But okay, and that's a very attention-grabbing thumbnail right there. I like that one because everyone's wondering, like, who is this mystery person? And let's see here. Yeah, I like that one too. Good job, man. I do like that. Is this your routine video right here, Lalo? I'll have to, even though I don't understand Spanish, I'll have to go back and watch that and try to decipher some of it. But really, man, like, I feel like, I mean, Lalo, you've been doing this long enough that I'm just going to remove this just for a second. You've been doing this, Lalo. You know what works and what doesn't work. But in looking at your channel, like, I feel like you've definitely improved over the years. You've said your channel first started out as a gaming channel, and so I can definitely see like where you're showing some of your gaming stuff. But even if we go back and we share this screen again, we look at it, like, you can definitely see like how you've improved at times. I'm just sitting here trying to think about, like, I mean, look at this, 6 million views on some of the stuff. Like, man, like, I can't even get over 1K on some of my stuff. Like, Lalo's the king of YouTube. Let's see here. See, like, a lot of stuff is very cool, and I like this. Like, I like that you kind of repurposed the same thumbnail from this one, and you used it up. I want to say you used it up here. Yeah, you did. You used it up here, and that's really cool. I'm glad you repurposed that thumbnail. Oh, actually, it's the same one. Excuse me. Shows how much I pay attention. But I like that thumbnail because you're getting people excited about the product and about your trip to Walmart or just to the grocery store. It could be Walmart. I'm not sure. But yeah, I like the thumbnail. If I was new to your channel, and if I spoke fluent Spanish, or if I even spoke Spanglish, I would definitely be interested into your channel. I'd probably want to be one to watch a lot of your stuff. Like, I do know what this means, but oh man, I think I need to brush up on my Spanish. So good job, man. I like that you have your channel Links right here, just really quickly. Good, good, good. I always make sure I check this, make sure the people's about section or your description is there. And you got your community tab, which you're killing it. Look at that good looking guy right there. Like, man, why is this guy, why has no girl ever swept this guy up yet? I mean, goodness sakes. Sorry. Okay, now I will stop sharing my screen. So I think I've embarrassed Lalo enough. Let's see here. Yeah, they were awesome thumbnails. And hopefully I didn't embarrass you too much. And then Sharkfin said, let's not forget Lalo's new channel in English. Yeah, actually, I'll bring that up here in a second. Yeah, he's just laughing about it. Seriously, but let me bring up your new one.
Today I am starting from zero, but not in the way you may think.
Oh, come on.
My name is Lalo. I'm a 21-year-old
Come on.
guy with only one goal in mind.
All right, stop. Sorry.
Here's my life story summary.
I was having technical difficulty. Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. Let's go to your channel. Let's just click on Lalo. Man, you've already hit 98 subscribers and you only have one video up. Like, I'm impressed. And that was a month ago. So I like that you're using the same concept, Lalo, but at the same time, here, let me share my screen again. Yeah, thanks. Yes, exactly. Tech woes for sure. My voice is cringe. Now you know how I feel when people play my videos in a clubhouse. I'm just like, oh, that's awkward hearing my voice. But let me share the screen again so that people can see this. Let's see your share screen. So I like that you have the same concept of this. But I still would highly recommend you put your different links right here again, like you did on your Spanish channel, just so that people know how to get a hold of you, how to find you. Because, like, I mean, you can post them all the time in your videos, but a lot of people may not look all the way at the bottom of your videos to see that. But I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm really impressed that you only have one video up and that you already have 98 subscribers. Like, I'm thoroughly impressed with that. And then look at this. Short, simple, and to the point. Just a 21-year-old guy with a dream of becoming a successful creator. And maybe even emphasize that on that a little bit more. Like, what is a successful creator? What does a successful creator look like to you? I mean, let's see here. Let's see how many views your first video had 492 views. Holy crap! Like, that's more views than my first video got. And my first video sucked, but that's just how it goes. But Lalo knows what he's doing. He's an OG of YouTube. But yeah, very impressive, my friend. Very, very impressive. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Au contraire, I like your voice, Lalo. It sounds like you. See, it just kind of depends on the person, Lalo. Like, I mean, I don't like hearing my voice, but wow, guys. Well, we're going on an hour and a half. If you still want me to continue this, I want you to put a hashtag yeah on this, or if you're good with me ending, I would love to end and really just go finish my video. But at the same time, like, I'm here for you guys. Like, I'm here to help you to be better content creators. And Sharkfin, we're hopefully going to be seeing that first video this week, right? Right? I'm looking at you, Sharkfin. I'm looking at you. I'm waiting for you at that video. Exactly. We all have to start somewhere. I remember here, I'll actually even show you guys a little bit snippet of my first video. It was so awkward. I hate even looking at it because it was so awkward. Oh my goodness. I cannot stress how awkward it was. Where is it? Oh, here it is. All right. Let me share my screen and I will bring this video up. All right, so this is my first video. Come on. Technical difficulties. Oh,
County more.
oh my goodness.
I am currently majoring in athletic therapy up there at Weber State. My goal would be to become a physical therapist.
Oh my gosh, I'm so stiff.
Photography on the side, I consider it like a side gig.
All right, if you let's just kind of fast forward. I want to show you guys how bad my camera angles were and my camera movement was. I did this on my DSLR, mind you. See how shaky that is? Oh my gosh, it makes me cringe. And I was so nervous when I did this because there were people that were around, and I didn't want them to say like, "What is this guy doing?" Like I was very self-conscientious at the time. All right, we've seen enough of that. I cannot watch that right now. Well, I'm just here to help you guys. So Sharkfin says, oh, here, okay, let me, since you guys were having issues with it, let me close down this comment and then we'll pull it up again. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me share my screen. All right. Don't you just love buffering? It gets me annoyed sometimes.
But that's not why I started photography. That's not why I started photography at all.
Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing.
So I continued on, and I remember the first photo shoot that I did, and this is
all right. Let's.
Back to my tutorial.
All right, so we're gonna fast forward a little bit just so people can see how bad my camera angles were. See how shaky the camera was. Again, I was very nervous when I did this video because there were people out there in this area and I didn't want them thinking like, what the heck is this guy doing? It's so shaky. It's kind of making me a little sick. See, that's not bad when I do that, but all right, enough of that. So, you know, everyone starts somewhere. My final thoughts are this. We all start somewhere. We're all on this journey together. We all help each other by encouraging each other, giving each other tips and tricks. If you are watching this on the replay, you should definitely find a lot of us are hanging out on Clubhouse a lot. We give tips and tricks and suggestions. But really, this is just something that I've enjoyed doing thus far. Like I'm coming up on my anniversary again for YouTube, the end of summer, and I'm excited to really just see where this takes me for the next like 10, 15 years. I cannot wait for this to really just get excited about this, and I cannot wait for you guys to see that video tomorrow. It's going to be so great. Like we had a lot of fun filming that video. I loved every second of it, especially being able to hang out with an old friend who I've known for so long, and really just talk about inside jokes, talk about our thoughts on the tech that we were reviewing, and really just kind of giving you guys a glimpse of like an area of Layton that people maybe would be curious about, because it's a very people have been asking like when are you going to show off Layton, and you'll start to see more and more of Layton in the coming videos and everything. But on that note, guys, I am your friendly neighborhood photographer / videographer / tech guru, techie, I guess. I always end these streams with this, and that is, do not live in the past, but instead live for the present and the future. And remember, we do this live stream every week at 5:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so come back. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and make sure you give this video a big thumbs up because it helps out my algorithm. And yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you guys again for your participation. And hopefully my feedback was great for those who I did some audits on their thumbnails and everything. I was very impressed with it. But with that being said, again, if you're new, consider subscribing, turning on that bell notification so you don't miss all the stuff for this channel, especially since we have A video coming out tomorrow on a gear review part 2. We'll catch you guys next week on a new Creator Hangout. Thanks. Peace out.